New on Curiosity Stream. She was a loving wife, a devoted mother. She also stole atomic secrets and gave them to the Soviets. Meet the woman whose deception kick-started the Cold War on the spy who stole the atom bomb. And
what if they catch you?
Then I shall be shot.
They're coming! Come back!
relive history's most death-defying escapes. It's Impossible Escapes, Civil War. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Back to the conversation. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Random question, 206-421-ROCK. Hello, Manuel. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Random.
Hola, picholas. Hola. Manuel, welcome to the program. How's your weekend?
It was good, fast as usual, but it was okay.
Okay.
I'm just glad we made it to 2021.
Yeah, that's it's a good thing it's a new year. That's a fact. Okay, let's go with this one here. All right, Manuel, how would you say that you are kind of like your parents? What trait do you have either from your mother or your father that kind of explains who you are a little bit?
Well, I have my mother's looks. That's what a lot of people tell me. I have her skin color, and I take her advice. I mean, that's all I could say about that.
Yeah, but if you don't, she'll beat your ass.
You have her looks in what way?
We grew up in a time of butt kicking, that's for sure. I mean, all these kids that don't get their butt kicked, I still get on my kids' behind every now and then.
Okay, and how similar are your looks to your mom? Now, first of all, is your mom an attractive woman?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
Of course, she's of older age, so like.
Well, sure, she's your mom. Yeah, we get that.
I used to get my butt kicked, so every time I hear anger, I think my mom. So yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this: did your friends think your mom was attractive growing up, even if they didn't tell you? They did not say that to you.
No. I think that's a modern mom. Back in the day, mom was still looking like the teachers from back in the day.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
That's fair.
Okay.
It's hard to tell too when it's your mom.
Well, it's hard to tell, but if your friends keep telling you, you go like, yeah, okay, guys, I get the theme. But he's right. Back in the day, like your mom would show up, open the door with like curlers in her hair and scarf on her head. Like it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it didn't matter. One more thing, Miles.
Yes.
You were talking to Daniel earlier about trying out fast foods, and you guys talking about McDonald's. The one thing I do go to, and it's cheap, is getting 2 McDoubles and 2 hot and spicy McChickens and playing them together.
Yeah, I've heard of people doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, all kinds of good combinations like that.
It tastes real good, but it's very important depending on how you want the taste. So if you want more chicken or if you want more meat, the direction, whether the patty be on the bottom or the chicken be on the bottom.
They'll also they'll do a Big Mac. They'll do a Big Mac chicken sandwich for you. So they'll put
instead of burgers.
Yep, they'll do that too. You just gotta, not shoot the people at the drive-through.
That's key.
Ask nicely.
That is key.
Can I get a Big Mac sub chicken patties instead of the hamburger?
Or I will shoot you.
They will hook you up. How about you guys? Anything where you think you might be like your parents or take any traits from your parents either way?
I am my mother, period.
You are. Okay.
I have her looks, I have her temperament, I have her gift for never shutting up. So, I mean, that's it.
Yeah, luckily I take after my mom much more than my father.
Okay. I can't think of one thing. Honest to God, I cannot think of one trait. Other than maybe drinking too much.
So you take after your dad a little bit.
On maybe drinking too much.
But, I mean, you both throw down and talk to anybody.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Okay,
that's the thing.
All right, okay. I guess there are a couple things.
And drinking.
Well, the reason we asked, because, we talk to people because we're drunk a lot.
Sure, but whatever the
What
case.
happens when you go to a bar and you drink too much?
But you get it from your
talking
dad.
to people and annoying them. What a deal. Yeah, right? So, okay, I don't know if you guys have heard of this band before, but they're called Suspect 208.
Suspect 208.
Okay.
Not familiar.
And they are...
Time to Google it.
They're a Los Angeles band, and they're made up of the sons of famous rock stars, for the most part. So right. Slash's son, London Hudson, he plays drums in the band. He's on bass. Bass is handled by Trey Trujillo. So Robert's kid.
Oh, Robert, okay.
From Metallica.
Yeah, that guy's legit.
And the singer of the band is Noah Weiland, the son of the late Scott Weiland. That's right. And the singer of the band was, in fact, Noah Weiland. The guys in the band had to kick him out last week because of his drug use.
Jeez.
They issued a statement saying, quote, "We're really close to him. It's the last thing we've ever wanted to do, but it had to be done for his safety, as well as the longevity of the band. Apparently at the time, he's headed down a dark path of drug use that got in the way of our friendship, as well as the band. We did as much as we could to help him out, but we couldn't do any more. They are now looking for a new lead singer and asking prospective candidates to send them a cover of Led Zeppelin's Black Dog."
Okay.
So if you can sing this, you might be able to work within the band.
I think the guy, as far as getting kicked out of a band for drug use, which I understand, but the one band that blows my mind the most was Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses. Because you got to think about Guns N' Roses when they first hit, like, these are drunks and heroin addicts.
Well, if it happened right now, it would be different than if it happened then.
But I'm saying, like, they had to ask you to, like, you were doing too much. They were all doing too much, but you're doing so much that it's too much for a group of guys that had no problem admitting that we do it too much.
Right.
Like, how messed up were you?
What was going on?
Right. When Guns N' Roses at that time says, "Hey, man, I mean, I messed up," but, like, you're really messed up.
I think there's a couple rules. Look, if you're going to practice, you need to show up. If you're going to play, you need to show up. I think there's only a couple of unwritten rules.
Do you think it's just his ability
among friends? And it basically is this: will you be here? So, and that's like, look, I don't care what you do. As a friend, I'll tell you, I think you're doing too much.
Sure.
But at this point in time, it affects your ability to do your job, or B, you do not show up for your job.
Sure.
Or C, you do not show up to practice for the job that we both have together, then this is not going to work out. I think that's really all it comes down to, because there's been look, Keith Richards is a drug addict.
Oh, without doubt.
You know, he's admitted to being on heroin and loving cocaine and everything. I guarantee you Keith Richards shows up.
Yes, I would give you that.
And no matter what he's done in his life.
But I think if it was that simple, they would have just said that. Like, I think he just, like, again, you're talking a very hard party and band, that he was just that far, like, out there.
I think there's probably truth to both sides of it. Like, look, man, you're way out there, but we would not bother to pass judgment unless, like you said, Miles, but you didn't show up. Like, we all showed up. Maybe we didn't even play well. Maybe we were all effed up, but we were here.
Right.
You know?
We're all using the same bookie, but if you don't pay up when you lose,
that's
you know
a
what
problem.
I mean? Like, you can't gamble anymore with this guy.
What's his name from Metallica? Weren't they called Alcoholica?
They were called Alcohol. God, a quick side
story
about that.
He got kicked out of that band for drinking too much.
So Metallica, I want to say maybe the mid-'80s, it became Alcoholica for a while. I mean, they had officially licensed merchandise. You know, they were younger, so they're proud of that distinction. Their manager at the time is someone who Miles and I had the opportunity to sit at dinner with years later. Okay, it's probably 20 years past the
he still does it. He still manages.
He still manages them, but he was manager also when they were known as Alcoholica. And we spent a weekend in New Orleans. Miles and I did what we do, but we met up this one night to have a dinner. And we showed up, and we were effed up, and we're still drinking this really good wine. And I remember the comment he made. He said, "Look, man," said, "I've spent these last few days with you." And he said, "I used to manage Alcoholica. You guys outdrink them." He's like, I'm not joking.
We kind of high-fived, and then we looked at each other like, is that a compliment?
Like, this is bad. He wasn't even saying it as a compliment. I mean, it's just like, you guys outdrink what they were doing when they became Alcoholica. Now, we don't run that hard anymore, but we still run kind of hard, I guess.
I mean, not like
that.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah, but I remember hearing that comment. I'm like, part of me is stoked. Part of me feels really disastrous.
Right, exactly. Like, do I need to talk to somebody, or do I celebrate with a drink?
Yeah, like, that's kind of awesome. Also, maybe I need to look at myself a little bit.
In the mirror.
Random.
And then we kept getting drunk. Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Welcome to the program. Random question. Okay, we're talking about maybe getting too messed up every once in a while. Have you ever woken up not knowing where you were?
Yes.
How many times?
I don't know. At this point, I'm 35, and I want to say at least 15.
15. And on average, how long did it take you to piece together where you were?
Probably about 8 hours.
Okay. Was there ever an occasion where you had absolutely no idea? It's one thing you wake up it takes a second, and then when I open the door, I realize I'm at my buddy's house or whatever the case may be. Have you ever woken up, like gone through the house, and it's still unfamiliar?
Well, I tell you what, my wife, she's walking to the bathroom right now trying to ignore the situation. But I tell you what, I have woken up and she has told me that I have definitely been nostalgic for about, 8 hours.
What do you mean nostalgic?
So basically you're...
basically I woke up and I tried to pee on the couch or something like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Have you slowed down at all after these experiences? Do they make you take a step back and go, wow, man, maybe I should give it a break tonight?
I have, but unfortunately, we just got nailed with, we finally just got diagnosed with COVID.
You finally did. Thank God. Congratulations. All right, how long have you been trying? This is like conception, right? You know,
so what does that mean? You'll start drinking your face off now?
I kind of feel like it. I feel like I should just chill at home and drink and do this and do that. But
I wouldn't probably.
Well, wait. Let me ask you this: do the doctors say not to drink if you test?
They have not. They have not said anything about the drinking.
Then drink on.
How did you get COVID? Do you know?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Okay, but both you and your wife tested positive.
Me, my wife, and my daughter. My son, he tends to stay in his room constantly, so we didn't.
Because you're sick.
Okay, all right. And so what did the doctor tell you? You got 2 weeks that you need to quarantine at this point?
He said 7 days.
7 days.
7 days to quarantine ourselves, and we got 72 hours after that.
And then is there any protocol they ask to follow? Like if you say drink chicken soup or just wait it out and it goes away?
It all depends on the company you work for. My company says 7 days and then 72 hours without any kind of symptoms.
All right.
So in other words, 10 days. Why don't they just say that?
Well, the good news is you can go to Petco, get some lice cream, and take care of that. It'll go away. 80% success rate there with the lice stuff. The reason we asked, have you ever woken up not knowing where you were? I do remember one time, I was probably 20 years old, maybe 19 years old, and I had gone to a party. Mm-hmm. From that party, we'd hooked up and then had an after party someplace else. We were on a dirt road someplace in a what they call a holler in West Virginia. I woke up at about 7:30 in the morning, not knowing where I was. Basically just looking around going, I need to get out of here. I need to sneak out of here. And I basically, what I did, I really couldn't find anybody in the house.
Yeah.
But there were a few cars outside, but I just, I wasn't going to go knocking on bedroom doors and stuff like that. I'm sneaking my way out of this house. So I start going down this dirt road. I have my car there. Start going down this dirt road. I'm like, all right, well, it's going to come out someplace, right? There was 3 trailers on this property,
all right,
up on this hillside, and that was basically it. But this road was a little tricky. It was, there was no guardrails. It's a dirt road, potholes. Some of it had been kind of washed out where a stream was coming through, but that's how they get up and down. So whatever. I get to the bottom of the hill. It's another dirt road. So I make a right, and then that road just starts to get real, real narrow, and I'm like, this can't be it, but it was getting too tight. So I ended up backing up for what seemed like a fourth of a mile because it was too tight to even make a 3-point turn. So I back all the way down out of that, come back into the other place, go down this dirt road again, and then at the end of that dirt road, it teed into another dirt road. At the bottom where there was like a stream and a river, right? And I'm like, I'm never getting out of here. So I finally figured out, and I get on a service road. So that's a little bit more mainstream. Don't go too far down the road on that. Now I'm onto a 2-lane road, paved road. This is great. Where in the hell am I? I didn't know what to do. This is like before Google.
Sure.
I didn't know whether to take a left, take a right. I got lucky, went the right direction, and realized I am close to Grafton, which is probably 45 minutes away from where I live.
See, one of the benefits, and I will say this, living in a city, all right, and Ted, you'll probably agree. So at least in the city, because between the ages of 19 and 23, to me, it seems perfectly normal, but a lot of times you woke up and had no idea where you were. Because all you did was drink, party, meet people, and go. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it was a great idea, and you ended up wherever you ended up like you. Now, the beauty was, even if I didn't know where I was specifically or whose house I was at, I knew for a fact that if I walk out the front door and see one street sign, I can get home. Right? There's no dirt roads. Yeah. I'm just in a different part of the city.
This was what they called a farm party. Now, the farm party was probably 30 minutes away from where we lived.
And
it was a big... It's basically somebody just opens up a gate, they build a bonfire, everybody's got kegs of beer, sometimes there's a live band playing, they're just doing it out in the middle of a field with a couple of generators, and away you go.
from that point, there's an after party that was 15 minutes in the opposite direction, which didn't seem like too far away at the time. Let's go to this house, Next thing you know, I wake up, I'm like almost an hour away from home. You know what I mean?
Well, it probably took you, about an hour to figure out that you're an hour away from home.
Based on the state route. Like, I looked up and I'm like, where the hell does that go, man? I couldn't remember if it goes east or west, north or south. Like, I didn't even know. So I just okay, pointing this direction, going to start driving. Then when I finally realized where I was, it was like one of the first exits that I took when I was driving to Baltimore to either get gas,
Jesus, man,
or going to the beach, on 70. Right. I'm way out in near Cumberland. You know what I mean? I am out there in eastern West Virginia, western Maryland, in the middle of nowhere. I mean, scary.
Who else was with you?
Just a bunch of my friends who want to go to the same party. We're underage. The party's $5 a cup.
I know. It's just it seems like some of them should have been around when you woke up.
Nobody. That's what I'm saying. Nobody was in that house. Well,
they got rides home.
People were in the house. People were just kind of sacked up together in the bedrooms.
Right.
So, but I'm just I'm by myself. I'm on the couch.
Right.
In the living room. I'm sneaking the hell out of here. I'm leaving. I could get my car out. I'm gone. I didn't recognize any of the other cars. I mean, I didn't know who the hell was still in there. None of my friends' cars were there. I'm gone. So, whatever.
Random.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. If you've ever wondered why we asked the question, have you ever woken up not knowing where you were?
Yes.
Members of the Everett Church got an unwanted surprise yesterday morning while they're setting up for Sunday services. Yes, we're talking about Everett, Washington. According to probable cause papers filed by the police, a member of a Central Everett church arrived Sunday morning and found the glass broken in an entry door and a man on the floor inside. When she saw him, the woman called Everett police. Everett police officers arrived and confirmed forced entry and located the man, who was passed out apparently from drinking the church's sacramental wine.
Oh. And he was discovered inside, passed out.
Damn.
Did not know where he was.
And that stuff is terrible.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not top quality stuff.
No, it is bottom barrel. That was probably the first wine I ever saw with a screw top.
But I will say this, if you're willing to break into a church to drink it, you got a problem. And that wine will do.
Yep.
Hello, Cheyenne. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
Cheyenne, welcome to the program. Random question.
All right, Cheyenne. Let's see what we got with you. How about this one, Cheyenne? Have you ever had a very memorable Valentine's Day?
I can honestly say no, I have not.
Valentine's Day is a tough one.
I don't have any memorable Valentine's
Out of
Day.
all the holidays, you have great Thanksgivings, where you went to people's homes, had great food, or, being able to go back and see family. Christmas is the same way. Valentine's Day, it seems like it's harder to pinpoint unless you, propose to somebody that day.
I mean, it has to be something significant. But as a dude, Valentine's Day doesn't mean anything to you other than this obligation that you really don't feel like doing.
So, Cheyenne, do you go out on Valentine's Day ever?
Well, I did make my own tradition being a motivational speaker. I actually, I hand out roses to different people, and I tell them to take them to, elders that are by themselves or, people that they think might need them, that are going through depression, that kind of thing, which I know is cheesy, but it's just something I decided to do. So,
well, has it ever worked on you maybe getting a date?
No, but I've learned not to expect that. But the thing is, Valentine's Day's never been a big thing for me. Even when I was married, I always did stuff.
No,
as far as having things done
when you're married,
me,
it's much different. When you're dating, Valentine's Day just holds the promise of sex, right? I mean, as a guy, ladies, I hate to let you know that before a guy, that is a beginning and end. Once you're married, there's no guarantees. Therefore, Valentine's Day, you're not even going to make the effort. You didn't even care about Valentine's Day when you were dating, but it's like going to the concert of a band you didn't want to see because you're going to get some leg later that night. But, yeah, once you're married, whatever, man.
Yeah, I would agree. No, but it's never been a big thing for me. That's why I ended up doing the rose thing, because I figured maybe I could, make stuff better for other people. So.
That's not a bad idea. Typically it's Valentine's always falls on something like a crappy Tuesday, or it's always just some weird thing.
But even if it's the weekend, I don't care. Here's my thing. One, it's look, I'm not above saying, hey, I love you, let's go somewhere and have a great dinner and all that. But on Valentine's Day, everything is so coerced and everything turns to crap. And like we've said before, and I hated it even when I worked in restaurants.
Probably the most.
And New Year's Eve, I understand that maybe you will change your menu because you're just feeding a bunch of drunk people, right? Future drunk people, just... Valentine's Day, like, you can pick your favorite restaurant, but a lot of restaurants decide not to offer their menu on that day. And to me, that would drive me crazy because I'm like, well, yeah, we can say, let's go to this restaurant we love.
The reason you picked that place was because there's probably one dish on the menu that one of you likes.
Right, but now that menu isn't there.
And that dish isn't there.
Right, so now I'm just overpaying for whatever it is they're going to offer me on this day, and we don't know in advance, and it's crowded, and it's packed, and it's like, it's not worth it, man.
Right.
Let's just stay home.
I don't drink wine, but typically
Yeah.
you get a bottle of wine, which is not a bad idea, especially for Valentine's, if you're trying to work a little magic, until you realize if you never buy bottles of wine in a restaurant, how expensive they are when your bill comes. You're like, holy cow, that's a doozy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, hell, one Valentine's Day, Thrill made steaks that were delicious. That one pops into my head.
And I don't have sex with Ted, but it's like, you want to come over, dude? We're making steaks.
Yeah. Reason we asked if you had a memorable Valentine's Day. Who says you can't put chocolate in a heart-shaped box for Valentine's? Jack Link's Beef Jerky. They are selling a heart-shaped box filled with beef jerky.
Ooh, all right.
For Valentine's Day this year. And the entire box is covered in brown hair. The hairy jerky hearts are on sale right now at Target if you want to brighten up a loved one's life.
If her name's Tammy, she's going to love it.
It's a heart-shaped box full of beef jerky, and the box is completely covered in brown hair. Happy birthday. Merry Christmas. Happy Valentine's. I love you. More of the random question coming up 206-421-ROCK.
New on Curiosity Stream.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean you can't.
Watch Earth's greatest minds forge our path to a better tomorrow. It's engineering the future. And Jaws, Star Wars, The Godfather, E.T. The biggest movies have even bigger music. From King Kong to The Dark Knight. See how musicians scored Hollywood's greatest hits on great film composers' music of the movies. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Oh, fiddlesticks! What, Wilbur? We just got hit and I think my back has all been out of shape.
You gotta talk with those whippersnappers at the Advocates Law Firm. They're the best injury lawyers around.
What? Pipe down, Clarence! Abner's telling me about the lawyers and the advocates. So what happened to you, Abner?
I was walking across the street with the light when some young punk came screeching around the corner. I lost a toe.
What? Shut it, Clarence! If you get injured, the advocates get results.
AdvocatesLaw.com.
You're in the men's room. 99.9 KISW and KISW HD1 Seattle.
Your guest is Chris Mike. Coming up today's categories: healthy living and your favorite delicious, tasty sandwiches. We have the top 10 tasty sandwiches in the best cities in the United States to live if you want to lead a active lifestyle.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Coming up with your guess is as good as mine. In the meantime, it is a random question. Question 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Alex. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hola! Alex, you're doing great, man. How's the weekend?
It was good. I bought an old pair of a 3-set row of airline seats.
You bought the whole row?
Yeah.
Are you going to use them like for the home theater or something like that?
No, I don't know what exactly I'm going to do with them yet, but I got them because they were from the former airline ATA. I don't know if you remember them.
ATA. I don't.
Do they have ashtrays in the armrests? Are they that old?
These don't, because these were on one of their newer aircrafts at the time.
Okay. So what was it basically? What, they dismantled the plane and then they put all that stuff up for sale somewhere?
Yeah, I bought it from this guy in Hollywood who collects old airline stuff.
If you don't mind me asking, how much did that run you?
Exactly $200.
Okay.
That's not bad. I'm going to guess you are not married.
No.
Okay, I was going to say, if I told my wife, hey, I spent $200 on a middle row of airline seats, she would wait for me to tell her what my plan was, because if I said what you said, which is, I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet, I'd be sleeping on the sofa.
Now, does the bottom, can it be used as a flotation device?
Yes, they can.
This is good because it's not stopping raining.
Then put it on your boat.
Yeah, these things might come in handy. You know what I mean? You never know. All right, here you go on your random question. It's just quite this simple. What bit you? What is the last thing that bit you?
A horse.
A horse? Okay,
That's-
not the answer I
ouch.
expected.
That's substantial.
I'm guessing you were feeding it, or it just didn't like you and it bit you.
It was my mule, Molly. I was stroking her face a little bit, and I put my hand in front of her mouth. Wasn't paying attention, and she bit my thumb.
Why do you have a mule?
Because why not?
Okay, that's one of the best answers you can
All
give.
right, do you have?
I want a mule.
Do you have a farm?
I don't, but she's at a different ranch right now.
Okay,
I see. So you are actually the physical owner, and you keep her boarded somewhere.
I'm not her legal owner. However, I am her main caretaker, and
Okay.
I have been for the last few years. But once I get my financial situation, once I'm financially able to, I will buy her.
Okay. How much does a mule cost, or at least this specific mule?
Her owner is asking $2,000.
And what does that owner pay you to take care of her?
Nothing.
Could you negotiate a deal based on your services? You could work your way toward owning the mule. In other words,
it's like rent a center.
Every time you go and take care of the mule, say, listen, I'll be there for
$100 to you.
$25, $50. Take that off the top of the cost of what you would eventually maybe pay for.
Sure.
Well, I don't really need to because I already work at a different ranch, and I get paid pretty well there.
All right. I'm trying to help you out, man.
You run your own business.
Yeah, you hang in there, man.
Question we asked, what bit you? An alligator bit the hand off of a Florida airboat captain during a tour Tuesday afternoon in the Everglades. This is the second airboat story that I've read in the week. The other was the guy who was drunk, who was blowing up and down in the neighborhood on the street.
Firing off fireworks at people's houses, yeah.
Witnesses said the Captain Doug's Everglade tour boat operator, 63-year-old Wallace Weatherhold,
known as
Captain Willie, was feeding the alligator before the attack. 6 tourists were on board at the time of the attack. Alligator was captured, euthanized, dissected, and the captain's hand was removed from its belly. Wally and the hand were taken to the Naples hospitals where doctors actually hope to reattach it. Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission said a criminal investigation is pending. Feeding alligators is a second-degree misdemeanor. But old Captain Willie, he lost his right hand.
Okay, Captain Wally. Not
Wally.
Willie. Come on, man.
Captain
Get us
Wally.
Captain
Sorry.
Wally.
That's right, Wallace Weatherhold. Captain
I like
Wally.
Captain Willie.
Me
All right,
too.
now,
Willie here.
We have paid our show, the men's room. We are going to get on one of these airboats. We're the Florida Everglades, fellas. We're going to go in the Everglades. All right. I don't know what it costs to do this, but deep down, when he decides he's going to feed a gator, are you hoping part of him gets bitten off just so you feel like you got your money's worth? Now, see, I know it sounds bad, and I don't mean it like that, but I mean it like that. It's like watching, if you don't watch NASCAR regularly, but I'm watching Sports Center on ESPN, and they're going to show me highlights of the latest NASCAR race, deep down inside, I'm hoping you show me the wreck. Not that I want anyone hurt, but I'm hoping I see the car flip or the car that burst into flames or the fist fight because some guy bumped the other guy at the wrong time. Like, I don't care about seeing the checkered flag, the guy won. I know you're going to show me that. I want to see the stuff that makes it exciting. Like, if I went to a NASCAR race, you want to see something crazy happen. If I go to see the Wallendas, no offense to the Wallendas, and I know they got safety harnesses, but I don't want you to not be successful. But for me to feel that I got my money's worth, you need to fall off the high wire, bro.
I think the only difference is, and it just comes from my fear of snakes.
Okay.
Is that if we lose his hand, are we stuck in the water?
Well, I'll get us out of there. It's not
all right.
that.
In that case, chop it off.
Because that's more his. See, like my parents, they've been to Cirque du Soleil, and the last 2 times that they went to Cirque du Soleil on 2 separate occasions, on 2 separate trips, something went wrong. Right? And my mother's always like, oh my God, we were there. A high wire person or someone caught on fire. And in my mind, I'm like, well, it's your money's worth. Look, I mean, like, you keep saying that what they're doing is dangerous, so you understand that there's an element in danger. And you, to me, like, I never saw Siegfried and Roy. But if I had to go to any one of the shows, you know the show I hope I was at is the one where Roy gets attacked. Because that, you prove the danger of what you keep talking about, right?
I don't even think that's the shocking part of the story. To me, the fact that somebody gets hurt feeding an alligator is...
No, there's no shock to that at all.
There's no shock to it at all. What is shocking to me is, let's just assume...
He goes by Captain Wally?
That Captain Wally is a half an hour to 45 minutes to an hour from being back on dock, right?
Okay.
So he just had his hand completely bitten off.
Yeah.
All right? They drive back to the mainland.
Sure.
Okay? he gets immediate medical assistance. All right? The people get off the boat. They're on part of the tour. They tell everybody what happened. This alligator bit this guy's hand off. So the Fish and Game Wildlife people say, okay, we're going to go out there and look for this specific alligator.
Right.
So he gives the approximate coordinates to where they were. They go out there, let's say it takes them a half an hour. Let's say it takes them 15 minutes, an hour. Who knows? Then they have to find this thing. Then they euthanize it. Then they gut the thing open. They find Captain Wally's hand.
Yeah.
They take the hand from the alligator's stomach. They get back in their boat. They go all the way back to shore, half hour, 15 minutes, hour, who knows. They then transport that hand to the Naples hospital.
Yeah, but Reed,
where doctors hope to reattach it.
Right.
The idea
Hope. That
of them
story left
just
off at hope.
being able to hope to reattach it blows my mind.
Because I got to think it's a fairly clean bite. Right?
And this thing has been in this alligator's belly for, I'm going to guess, at least 2 hours.
Now, how many alligators do you think you have to euthanize to find the right
That's what
one?
I'm saying.
There's
you
probably
don't just walk up to
18
this
of
swamp
them. Right.
and go like, okay, I'm going to get lucky and get this guy.
Right. That's the one.
He's the guy who's got it. How the hell do you know? You don't know.
But that's what I mean. You might have 18 because they're not lying in the article. Like, oh, well, we found it. We found 17 others first, dissected it. We did 17 others first and found its hand, which we did not find in the first 17.
But we have new boots.
I mean, maybe it's just a matter of catching it right away.
I mean, if they did that then and hauled the alligator in, it would make sense. I just can't see one-armed Captain Wally going, I'm going to kill this thing and drag it in so I can get my hand back. Maybe he did.
What are you saying, Ted? All right, so we're on the, even say we're just 100 yards away from the dock, all right?
Right.
Captain Wally gets his hand bitten off. We're freaking out, but we managed to take the boat back. We get, even when they go back out there, like, are we sure that's the one? Like, no offense, I'm not trying to be a gator racist. They all look the same to me.
If they're in Naples, it's the Okeechobee Swamp. So, I mean, right.
You know,
some are bigger, some are smaller.
One of the biggest national parks in the United States.
Some are bigger and some are smaller, yeah. I just feel like never having experienced that before, me personally, and I watch a man get his hand bitten off, I don't know that my visual memory of this alligator is going to be perfect. Like, fellas, I don't know.
And you have to remember, man.
But Wally's probably taking the same route all the time.
I'm sure.
So I'm guessing that he's fed the same gators over the years.
Gator, you said it yourself, plural.
But we're also
gators.
We're also seeing alligators right now in Florida walking on golf courses and walking down the highway
all the time.
That look like crocodiles. You know, these are 15-foot, dinosaurs. Where an alligator, I mean, you can get a 5-foot, 6-foot alligator. You can do a lot of damage, but these things are just massive.
They're huge.
How big they are. Because I always associate that with, that's Australia, that's crocodile. But I mean, when you see these alligators now, you're just like, man, you don't realize how big they can get.
It's like anything, though. When I see a picture of these particular animals, there's an image in my head, and the image in my head, I believe that they're vicious, they can do damage, but they're always tinier than they are. And then when you see them, standing next to, say, an average 6-foot tall man, I'm like, Jesus Christ. The one animal that always blows my mind as far as its actual size versus how you perceive it is a wolf.
Yeah.
Right? Because in your mind, you kind of picture a dog. Maybe you picture a big German Shepherd, and it's just wolfing. It's like, man, when you actually see a wolf, you're like, that is a massive effing animal.
When you go on tours, look, anything that's small, no one gives a flying hell about.
No.
Look, they don't take you for let's go see the chipmunks. Everybody pile in. Squirrels, rats, mice. Nobody gives a crap. Even if you go on a whale watching excursion, it might be cool to see a dolphin. It's
not big enough
in the water. That's not why you're there.
Not big enough.
You want to see a gray whale, humpback whale. You want to see big. When you go on these things, the whole idea is that they're going to take you to where the big gators are.
Yeah, if you go on safari, nobody says, man, I got to see monkeys. Now, they might bring up monkeys in a little bit, but it's lions, it's elephants.
It's the biggest things there.
Even though giraffes are very tall, it's still like, yeah, there were giraffes. I guess the difference is, look, a giraffe can kill your ass.
Did you see that giraffe chasing that tourist group down the street?
Okay, again, this is one of those safari deals. And it's a giraffe, right? And in your mind, maybe it's because of Jeffrey the giraffe. They're just these fun little animals. This goddamn thing chases this vehicle down, and you can tell it meant business. There's somehow you can read its expression that says, if you stop this vehicle, I'm going to take my head and smash anyone in it. And that's a giraffe. A giraffe.
And these are people who go on tours every day and take people out to see all kinds of things, and the panic was in their eyes. So you can see right away, like, this is a guy that does this 3 times a day, 4 times a day. He does not like this situation.
See, I'm always torn, man. Like, part of me has the same general fascination that probably anyone in the U.S. has about the idea of doing a safari, right? Exotic animals from our perspective. Lions, elephants, all this stuff, right? And you can watch crap on National Geographic, and you're like, man, oh man, like, this is crazy. And these guys are actually, they're filming it. That has to be an adrenaline rush. And then the other part of me says, these goddamn things will rip you apart. So, if I went on safari, I think I'd be like, look, one, I want to be in a vehicle. I'm not trying to do this S on foot, right? Mm-hmm. Especially when you keep talking about the lion can camouflage. Okay, then we need to be in the vehicle. And also, it needs to be covered.
Yeah,
it needs to be a covered. I am always blown away when I see like the open air Jeep. I'm like, dude, you're being chased by a rhinoceros. And it is catching up to you. And it's open air. And the people are laughing at first, but when you realize a rhinoceros is now closing the distance, like the looks on their face change. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know if I want any part of that. I am not built for that. Hello, Brandon. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. Brandon, welcome to the program. Random question.
Hey, before we start, I got a question for you guys. Random question.
What's that?
What happened to Bloody Mary Mondays, man? Where's Top Shelf? What's going on?
What happened? What do you think this is, 1983? Are you getting nostalgic with us?
Bloody Mary Mondays.
I don't know, man. Why did the McRib go away the first time? So confused.
Hey, I got a question for you, too, man.
All right, what up?
After this coronavirus stuff, you going to do some more of adventures or what?
You know I'll be tailgating somewhere.
Yeah.
Amen, bro.
Did you ask Ted if he's going to go back to the tailgating sector? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. I say that with certainty.
All right. Here's your random question. Have you ever been naked outdoors?
Hello.
I mean, camping, you got to take a dump sometimes, right?
Well, yeah. Do you get completely naked?
I guess. Drop the drawers.
All right, but I'm talking about just butt naked outside. Like, you're naked.
No,
you are not in your home.
No, I've never done that, man.
Okay.
Oh, you haven't lived, brother.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah. When you're naked outside, man, it's a completely different experience. There's a little bit of freedom to it. It's like, I'm crazy now.
Yeah, there's freedom to it. And you said this, and people took it as a joke, but you're not kidding. You know, sunlight rarely hits your penis.
It does. Or your butt.
Right. I mean, it just doesn't happen because you're clothed, because there are laws. But when you choose to violate those laws and you are naked outside, it is, man, it feels nice. Mm-hmm. You know, it really does. Yeah. As dumb as that sounds, like, all right.
There's an apartment building on my block, and there's a big deck up there. And typically when it just starts to get early in the sunshine days, there's a couple lovely ladies who like to go up and grab a cocktail and start to have some drinks.
Are they naked?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Is it the place across from me?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it's not exactly awesome. It's just what they do. I mean, it's awesome for them.
Yeah, okay, I got
you. Know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not bad. I'll go out on the balcony at 2 a.m. in the summertime if I wake up to smoke a cigarette or use the bathroom, whatever. I'll go out there and smoke a cigarette naked. There's nobody out there.
That's what I thought. It was like my third day in New Orleans, and the place I had, a lot of places in New Orleans, if you're renting especially, your apartments are over tops of bars or other businesses, right? It's just the way the city's set up. So it's about 5 in the morning, and I'm butt naked, but I'm like, oh, the hell with it, man. There's nobody out there. I mean, the second I stepped out there, it's like, oh, look at that inn hanging out, man. I'm just like, Jesus Christ. He naked. Seriously, I went back in, put on shorts.
Reason we asked, have you ever been naked outdoors? Here we go again. A naked Australian on the run from police found himself clinging to a tree above a swamp frequented by crocodiles before he was rescued on Sunday. Kevin Joyner and Cam Faust, they were out laying crab traps near East Point, that's in the Northern Territory capital of Darwin, when they heard cries for help, according to the BBC. Help. They found the fugitive, identified as a 40-year-old man named Luke, hanging out at a mangrove tree a few feet above the water, where he had made himself a little nest. Luke was covered in mud, cuts, and mosquito bites, desperate for water. He claimed to have been living off small snails for 4 days. The men's initial reaction was disbelief. Then we realized this guy's actually in a bad way. And we're in the middle of nowhere. And we're like, oh, man, we better help this guy. So they assumed that he said he'd been out there for 4 days. He had a big night on like New Year's Eve, whatever. So the pair let him on board their dinghy, where they enjoyed a few rounds of beer. And Faust handed over his shorts because the guy didn't have any clothes on.
Okay.
I wasn't wearing undies, so I couldn't give him mine. Ambulance met the group at the boat launch. It turned out later they learned that he had been facing multiple charges, including armed robbery, when he allegedly broke out of his jail, and ankle monitor. Initially, they thought that they would visit the man just to see how he was doing. But my partner, he's a paramedic, and he's saying, dude, he's in the hospital with handcuffs on. 2 cops are there all the time babysitting him. So we're like, maybe we should just leave him there. Treated for exposure. Luke will now face additional charges of breaching bail and aggravated assault as he lived in a mangrove tree for 4 days while crocodiles were below him completely naked.
You live in Australia. You had to know.
It's just weird that he's naked in that tree.
In a swamp in Australia. First of all, I didn't know there were swamps in Australia.
I assume there's everything in Australia.
Yeah.
I know.
And also, why are you naked? Like, I understand why you're up in the tree, but, like, did they say, give us your clothes or we'll eat you? Like, why are you naked, man? Now it's weird.
Crocodiles are perverts.
Still to come, your guess is as good as mine. A categories on the way, healthy living in the best cities to do so, and your favorite delicious, tasty sandwich. You are listening to The Men's Room.
New on Curiosity Stream.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean you can't.
Watch Earth's greatest minds forge our path to a better tomorrow. It's engineering the future. And Jaws, Star Wars, The Godfather, E.T. The biggest movies have even bigger music. From King Kong to The Dark Knight. See how musicians scored Hollywood's greatest hits on great film composers' music of the movies. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.